Good morning, 6th ICSE. This is your biology teacher, Tina ma'am. In previous class, we have read about the circulatory system. I have explained you about the heart. Now we will quickly revise about the circulatory system and go through it. Now, the circulatory system in human beings. In human beings, the respiratory gases and the products of digestion are transported throughout the body through a fluid medium, the blood. The system through which the blood is transported is called the circulatory system. The circulatory system in human beings consists of blood, blood vessels, and heart. William Harvey, in 1628, an English medical doctor, explained the circulatory system in human beings. Now we have to read about the function of circulatory system, components of circulatory system. In components, we have to read heart, blood, vessels, lungs, and lymphatic system. Now come to the circulatory system. What is circulatory system? It accepts oxygen, nutrients and other substances from the respiratory and digestive systems and delivers them to cells. Accept carbon dioxide and wastes from cells and delivers them to respiratory and urinary systems for disposal. Also, it performs functions in temperature and pH control. Generally, we have two types of circulatory system, one open and two is closed. In generally cockroaches and the arthropod mollusk, these are like apple snails, they have that open circulatory system. But in case of mammals like we, cat, dog, we have closed circulatory system. Now we will read about the closed circulatory system. Heart pumps blood in large arterioles from your heart. Diffusion occurs in tiny capillaries. Blood returns to heart in large veins. Large veins consist of fast flow, large diameter, thick walls. These large vessels, that is generally we call it as artery. In capillaries diffusion occurs and it is low flow, small diameter, very thin walls, fit one RBC through a time. RBCs scrap walls. Now come to the first component of the circulatory system, that is blood. We will read about the red blood cells. This is a very important part of circulatory system. Why? Because red blood cell is consist of hemoglobin. Why red blood cells is red in color? Because of the hemoglobin. Now come to the point, what is erythrocytes or RBCs? Red blood cells or RBCs transport oxygen from lungs to aerobic respirating cells and carry carbon dioxide waste from them. Remember the second point, it is very important. Red blood cells have no nucleus. They are created in bone marrow with enough proteins to last about 120 days. You can see the diagram over there, that is 2 μm. Phagocytes engulf old cells. Now come to the next part, platelets. Platelets, what are platelets? It helps in blood clotting. These are the comma-shaped cells. They are hundreds of thousands of platelets circulating in blood. If whenever you getting injured, you will get a clot over there. That is because of these platelets. They live for about 8 days. They respond to injury by releasing chemicals to initiate blood clotting. And another is the WBC, which is the which helps in our immunity, which helps to engulf the diseases or viruses or bacteria and help us. Now come to the vessels. You will find arteries, veins and capillaries in the body. Arteries are main transporter of oxygenated blood. Arterioles diameter is adjusted to regulate the blood flow, and capillaries diffusion occurs across the thin walls. Veins generally are large diameter, low resistance. Valves are present. This is very important point. You can differentiate from vein from the artery by the valve. Only veins have the valves. Arteries do not having that valves. Okay. One way flow is there always in vein. Blood reservoirs and 50 to 60% of total blood volume. You can see the flow analog. I have explained it how it is that happened. how the blood is happened to it. We know we have a 4-chambered heart, but how it is evaluated? First, it is evaluated in fishes. They have 2 chambers. It is also called venous heart. Then that happens in the reptiles and amphibians. They are having 3-chambered blood. Here, 2 and 3 chamber always carrying deoxygenated blood throughout the system. But we, that mammals or birds or crocodiles or human being, they are having 4 chambers. So we can differentiate that oxygenated and deoxygenated blood by this. That blue colored part you can see, it is always deoxygenated blood, and the red part is always oxygenated blood. Blue part is always deoxygenated blood and red part is always oxygenated blood. Now come to the heart. You can see the diagram right and left. In heart, you can find that aorta over there. Aorta is very important. It delivers oxygen rich blood to the body. Heart is consist of 4 chambers: right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. Right atrium and right ventricle always will carry deoxygenated blood. It will always carry deoxygenated blood, and in case of left atrium and left ventricle, they will always carry oxygenated blood. Remember it. How the blood circulation happen in the heart? You can see right atrium and right ventricle. Right atrium will collect the entire blood, deoxygenated blood of your body, and they will collect it and pump it to the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, it will go to the lungs for purification. Then it will purified and come to the left atrium. Then whenever that left atrium will fulfilled, it will go to the left ventricle. You can see how our heart is adjusted in our body. Now, how this contraction is happen? Contraction is happen through the SA node in the right atrium in the pacemaker. We all know our heart is always pumping, and it has a sound that is called lub-dub. How this systole and diastole happen? Because of the SA node in right atrium is a pacemaker. It starts the rhythm. Electrical signal causes contraction of atria. Signals flows to AV node and down septum to ventricles. So for today's class, I think this is enough for you all. I will explain you in the next slide how the circulatory system is moving on, and our circulatory system in human being, how it is happen. Thank you all.